This is LGR, London Greek Radio.
Κατέβασε τη δωρεάν εφαρμογή του London Greek Radio από το App Store για iOS και Google Play για Android και συντονίσου. London Greek Radio 103,3 μας φέρνει πιο κοντά.
Είμαι η Βασούλα Χριστοδούλου, μας ακούτε στους 103,3 FM ελληνικό ραδιόφωνο Λονδίνου, στη συντροφιά μας στο Vasoula and Estates. Για περισσότερες πληροφορίες αποταθείτε στην ιστοσελίδα vasoula.com. Και έφτασε η στιγμή που κάνουμε το ταξιδάκι μας στην Αυστραλία για να μιλήσουμε με την συγγραφέα Shelley Dark. Good morning, Shelley. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Good morning, Vasoula. Thank you so much for asking me. I'm very honoured.
You're very welcome. Now we are going to talk about Hydra in winter. Hydra in winter, an island escape in search of a Greek pirate. What first inspired you to travel to Hydra in search of your husband's ancestor, Ghikas Voulgaris, Ghikas Voulgaris, if I'm not mistaken? So what was your inspiration behind it?
Thank you, Vasoula. Yes, my husband wasn't aware at all that he had any Greek blood at all until our son, our grown-up son, went south in Australia and someone told him that he was the great-great-grandson of a Greek pirate. And that was the first that John knew about it, or I knew about it. And I guess it was because in the early 20th century, people weren't wanting to be related to convicts in those days, and so no one had ever told John about it. And Vasoula, when I heard about it, I thought it was the most exciting thing I'd ever heard, being related to a Greek pirate. So I couldn't wait to find out all about him.
And did you travel yourself to Hydra, or in Greek, Hydra? I don't know if you're aware, in Greek we say Hydra. And you chose the winter. Why did you choose to go, to explore, to find out more, and you didn't go during the tourist season?
No, exactly. Well, I'd been searching for years in Australia trying to find out what I could, and I knew that I really wanted to go to Hydra. And in 2017 for Christmas, my husband put a ticket to Hydra under the Christmas tree for me. And so, Sula, that's summer in Australia, of course, but I couldn't wait. That was burning a hole in my pocket, and I just had to go straight away. I knew the archives would be open, and I also figured that people would have time to talk to me in the winter, where in summer I might not find out as much as I would. So really, I just booked my ticket and went as soon as I could.
That's a good explanation, actually. And actually, it makes sense that people will be more available to talk to you during winter than summer. So that was clever thinking, very smart. And did you actually go by yourself? Or
I did. Yes,
you did? By yourself? Oh, wow.
I'm a good... Yes, I'm a good traveller by myself. I like travelling with my husband or with girlfriends. But when you travel on your own, you see things a lot more. You engage a lot more. If you're travelling with someone else, half of your time is invested in that person. Whereas when you're on your own, you really can soak up the atmosphere of a place. So, yes, I had no hesitation. I knew I wanted to go by myself.
Excellent. Yes. Actually, I should try this as well, because I always think, and what about if this happens or if that happens? But we have to be brave and we have to explore, because we do pay more attention to the things around us if we are on our own. Now, were there any unexpected challenges or funny moments during your research trip?
No challenges that were a function of travelling by myself. That was simple and good, without having someone saying what time's dinner or where are we eating. You just making all those decisions on your own. But yes, it was challenging because when I got to Hydra, the archive staff didn't know any more than I did. They only knew what they had read on the internet or what Australian tourists had already come and said to them. So that was a bit of a challenge, but they were absolutely wonderful. The archive staff couldn't have been more interested or more helpful. And while we didn't find anything about Ghikas on that trip, we did find a ship that they had very good records for that I thought may be the pirate ship that they took, except that it appeared to be too big for a crew of 9, which was the number that were sentenced in the trial in Malta when they were sentenced to death in Malta. So, yes, that was frustrating, Sula, not actually finding the details that I wanted to, but that was more than made up for by finding Hydra much as it would have been 200 years ago without any cars, with the buildings all the same. You know, I was able to stay in an arcontico that belonged to a ship owner. And so I really was able, it was all teaching me to soak up the atmosphere of that island, which eventually turned into me wanting to write a book about it.
Yes, and your book balances history, travel, and humor beautifully. How did you find that mix in your writing? Because, I mean, if you think the story, it's quite deep, you know, about the pirate. If we speak about pirates nowadays, it's scaring, you know. But you've managed to balance it beautifully.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sula. Actually, the book that is coming out in November is the book about the pirate's life, about Ghikas Voulgaris' life. And so that is a much more serious book and a completely different book. But this book was a light-hearted diary because I was having a lovely time. And although I had this great urgency about trying to find out facts, in fact, the island of Hydra said to me, no, we don't hurry. We don't have the urgency that you have. You just need to slow down. You just need to, you know, take it easy. And so that made the couple of weeks a real joy. Once I got used to the fact that Hydra wasn't going to march to my drum, and once I learned to slow down and live a little andante, then I began to really enjoy myself, and I think that's why it's so light-hearted.
Yes.
I really enjoyed those 2 weeks.
So what surprised you most about his story? I mean, you know, doing your research, yes, that he was a convict, I guess. Yeah,
well, yes, that was a surprise, wasn't it? Because, you know, convicts in Australia were stereotypically Anglo-Saxon. They were felons from poor socio-economic backgrounds. And here we had Ghikas, who was the son of a ship owner, you know, and a pirate. It's a most amazing combination. So that, to begin with, was a great surprise. But I think in all the history books here, or at least in the one that was written by an Australian ambassador to Greece and a great Philhellene called Hugh Gilchrist, Hugh Gilchrist wrote that there were 9 men on this pirate ship, and that was probably one of the biggest misapprehensions that I had to deal with. And it wasn't until I got to London, because after I went to Hydra, I went to Malta and I went to London, and it wasn't until I went to London that I found out that there weren't 9 boys on that pirate ship. There were actually 43 men. And so that changed it hugely from what I was thinking they were into a much more serious operation, you know, on a bigger ship. And so that was probably one of the most difficult things to get over, because I was looking for a small ship and I was thinking these were sort of 9 boys out for a bit of fun. And that put a completely different complexion on it. But really, when I think about it, all of the research was difficult because there is nothing about them on Hydra. And so everything I found had to come from British naval records or Maltese trial records. You know, mostly the British Navy, though. It was lucky they kept such good records because I was able to find the anti-pirate ship captain's log, which recorded the names of the boys that they arrested. And so once I found those 43 names, I could see that our 9 boys were in that group of men, so then I was sure about it. But yes, it was all wonderful fun though, Vasoula. When you're addicted to research, you go down that rabbit hole and you don't ever want to come out, really.
Well, I hope you managed to learn a few Greek words while you were there.
I did, but I'm not very good at pronouncing them, Vasoula.
Oh, you can give it a go. Maybe the very simple one.
I can see Kalimera.
Oh.
And Efaristo.
Yes.
And Parapoli.
Very
What
good.
else can I?
No, you're doing very well.
Thank you. I always like to try to speak language when I travel, don't you?
You're doing very well. And I think by the time you write your 3rd book about Hydra, you will speak Greek fluently.
Oh, I'd love to go and live there for 6 months. That would teach me to speak.
Exactly, you know. So what do you hope readers will take away from Hydra in winter, Shelley?
Do you know, Vasoula, I think I'd like them to take away joy from it. I think it's a joyful book, and I think it also says don't let old age stop you from doing anything, because I'm not young. I'm 78 now, and I wasn't a baby when I went to Hydra on my own. And I just think you can let old age stop you from doing things, but really, what's the worst thing that's going to happen if you say yes? So whatever the idea is that you've got bubbling around in your mind, things that you've wanted to do and hesitated to do, I just hope that people will read that book and think, I should do what I've been thinking I'd like to do all this time.
Fantastic. Honestly, you're a very inspirational person, Shelley. And before I let you go, you are also part of the All Right Club. How important has that writing community been in your journey as an author?
It's been enormously important to me being part of a writers group, Vasoula, because you're in a group of people who support you through the rejections, through everything. Yes, we have an online chat room, my writers group, on Discord, and so we chat all day, only about writing and only about questions about writing or books we've read or problems we've got or, you know, asking each other's questions. Yes, it's enormously important to me, and anyone who's a writer, I would so encourage them to find a writers group.
Shelley, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing the story behind Hydra in winter. And I'm sure we can find you on social media. We can, it's Shelley Dark. Yes, and we can find further details. I don't know if you've got a website as well that our listeners can. Yes, you do?
Yes, I do, and I hope that your listeners will keep their eyes out for Son of Hydra, which will come out on November the 20th as well. I think your listeners will love Ghikas' story, Vasoula. He's a fascinating man.
Fantastic, Shelley. Thank you so much again. Enjoying the rest of your, is it day where you are right now, or is it evening?
Thank you, Vasoula. Yes, I'm going to go to bed now.
Oh, good night, Shelley. Good night. Thank you again. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Vasoula. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Likewise. Bye-bye.
This is LGR, London Greek Radio.
Ο αγαπημένος σου ελληνικός σταθμός στα social media. Ακολούθησέ μας στο Instagram και στο TikTok, βρες μας στο Twitter και κάνε like στη σελίδα μας στο Facebook London Greek Radio.